Hey all, it's Starzy, and today we are going to be doing my August wrap-up. Now we are kind of nearing the end of September now, so especially the books I read at the start of August, I'm not sure how much I'm going to remember them, I'll be honest. So there's your fair warning in advance. I actually spoke about a book in initially filming this, only to realise that in fact I had read it in July, not August, and so had already spoken about it, had just forgotten I'd done so. So there's an awkward cut to me talking about the first book I read this month. I'm pro at this. I read My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix, which is a horror book set in the 80s, very cool cover, kind of storyline is somewhat what you could guess from the title, in that a girl's best friend becomes kind of possessed and stuff escalates from there. I was really excited to go into this because I'd heard so many great things about it, and I really enjoyed Horror Store by Grady Hendrix, but ultimately this was another book I felt kind of just okay about by the end, and I couldn't even tell you exactly why. Like, there was nothing necessarily wrong with it, although the discussion of appearance and stuff wasn't my fave. I couldn't even put my finger on why. I can just tell you that I felt pretty meh about it, and I seem to be in the minority for that. I'll definitely read more by Grady Hendrix because I enjoyed Horror Store so much, but this one, for some reason, just didn't quite grab me. However, the next book that I read in August, I did 5-star, and I listened to The River Has Teeth by Erica Waters. I did read Ghostwood Song by Erica Waters last year and really enjoyed that. So this was on my anticipated releases for this year and clearly loved it. Angry Sapphic Witches. If that alone does not get you interested, then you and I are not the same. But it is YA horror. A girl's sister has gone missing, and then there's another girl who is kind of known for being a family of witches, in that people come to like her and her father still for like potions and things like that. Your typical kind of stuff, like to get revenge or love potions or I don't know, that kind of stuff. And in searching for, I can't remember their names, but in the girl searching for her missing sister, these two characters kind of have their stories intersect and things go from there. It has some darker themes. It particularly kind of explores grief, both like of multiple characters, and there's also some strange stuff going on with the witch's mother, and I really enjoyed this, and it was one of those books that I didn't want to stop listening to. Like, I would stay up too late listening to it because I wanted to know what was happening next, and yeah, I really enjoyed this. I love witchy things in general. That's always a way to kind of draw me in. Bonus points for Sapphic. And there was a lot of interesting stuff going on. And it also had a beautiful atmosphere in the kind of woods that it was set in, which was something I noticed from Erica Waters' previous novel as well, is that she was very good at kind of building the atmosphere of the environment. So I loved that. And that was, I guess, my favourite read of August. I then finished an arc, Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune, which I guess is an adult fantasy, I guess is where it falls under. This is a book that explores death, because we are following a character who has died, and it's kind of he's in that transition period before he kind of moves on. And he may be kind of falling for the ferryman. I can't remember if he's referred to by something else in this book, but basically the guy who's kind of guiding him to be ready to move on to that next part. Again, a lot of exploration of death and accepting oneself and all that kind of stuff. Was quite beautifully written, wasn't like the most engaging thing to me, but I did enjoy it. I gave it 4 stars, and because it was an arc I had through NetGalley, I do have a review for that on Goodreads as well. I then continued my listening of my nostalgic reread of the Del Toro Quest. So in August I listened to The Maze of the Beast, which is number 6. Great children's series that surprisingly is holding up on a reread. What's this, like 20 years later or whatever? Really enjoying those rereads. This one involved a Maze of the Beast, and other things going on. It still surprises me how dark these books can get and how much death happens in them just for the fact of that it's a children's series. But yeah, really enjoying that reread. If you like children's fantasy and have never read these, I do think it still kind of holds up. So, and then the last book that I read in August was Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson. This was actually something I originally picked out to put on my Magical Readathon TBR, and then apparently couldn't wait and finished it in the last few days of August instead. This is a YA thriller, kind of following grooming and what can happen to young black girls, especially in the context of them not being believed, and this is in the context of like the music industry. So I know there are some real world figures that people relate this book to. So definitely not necessarily an easy read in that perspective of you are following this girl who becomes infatuated with an adult music star, and she's a teenager, and is also kind of hoping that he will help her in her own career because she wants to become a famous singer, and some bad stuff happens to her from there in the context of that relationship. I'm feeling like, you know, when some topics and things that you read like give you like a physical reaction, like I'm getting that physical reaction again now, because like it's horrendous, especially when you consider the kind of things that do actually happen to young girls in real life. So yeah, not an easy read, a lot of bad things happening. I did think it was a really effective book though, so if you are in the right headspace to read something like that, it is something I would recommend. I do think it was a really good book. Just yeah, hard to deal with at points, but also like very engaging. One of those books that obviously I was going to wait to finish it until September to include as part of a readathon, but I was so engaged by it that I just kept reading and reading and reading until I was done. So it was a quick read in that respect, but yeah, hard topics. Yeah, for some reason I thought I'd like not read anything in August. This is what confuses me about freaking American dates, which Goodreads has, because it has the opposite. I read that as August, but it says July. I'm also have lost my light, so that's good. Why, like it's early afternoon, why has the sky suddenly gone dark? Melbourne, man. I guess I enjoyed majority of the things I read, and that's always good. I know I promised a July, wait, what month was I in? I think I said I was going to make a July movie wrap up, and clearly that never happened because I stopped making videos. So I guess I'll probably try to do a recent movie wrap up which will encompass at least July and August. Because I definitely, yeah, I've watched some things. I feel like this is one of the messiest wrap ups I've ever done. I don't know what to do with myself. Anyways, until we meet again, do let me know what you've been reading down below or what you think of any of these books. Stay safe, stay educated, and Starzy out.